You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, today is Tuesday the 18th of March 2025 and you are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. And I just want to apologise for, I don't know if it was yesterday or the days before podcast, I think it was the day before actually, the one where the plumber was in the house. The sound is a bit weird, it's a bit poppy and noisy, and that's basically because I was speaking quieter but holding the microphone closer to my mouth, and it did affect the sound quality a little bit, so sorry about that. But yeah, again, I've had another really good day. In fact, it's only 4 o'clock and I'm recording this now because I've made a couple of little decisions to make my life easier tomorrow. So basically tomorrow I'm meeting up with a friend who lives in the Manchester area and we're going to go to Chester Zoo, which is a bit of a distance for her, but much further for me to go. And I kind of, I was considering, excuse me, I'm going to cough. I was toying with the idea of maybe driving up there and spending the night in Chester, because otherwise it's going to be 5+ hours in the car tomorrow, going there and coming back. And then I thought, well, maybe Chester's supposed to be not quite nice. Maybe I'll do a second night and come home Thursday. But then I saw the price. So the hotel tonight isn't horrendously expensive, but the hotel for the following night was nearly twice as much. So I gave up on that idea. So I've booked it for tonight. So it's going to take me about 2.5 hours to get there. I'm going to leave in the next couple of hours. And then I will be in Chester. So when myself and my friend meet up, we can go to the zoo without me having to get up stupidly or have driven for 2.5 hours. But yeah, so that's good. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the next thing was today I sort of targeted myself with doing the next 3 chapters of Still Life and going through them. And we are getting to the point where there's a lot less I need to change now. In fact, the main bit of feedback, so there's in chapter 18, which is the final chapter that isn't set in the modern day. It's not a flashback, it's a continuation of the 1915 storyline that I started, but that kind of goes through several years. So it starts in 1915, continues into I think it's 23, and then eventually 1962. So that chapter 18 is set in 1962, and basically it's somebody decides to go and rescue someone, but then you read it and she had made no provision to get the person she's rescued away from where she was. And the feedback I had was, well, wouldn't she have had a moped or something like that? But the more I thought about it, it made absolutely no sense, because if she's got to rescue someone, then she's going to need a car, because they're both going to need to be able to get away. She can't assume that the other person will be well enough to sit on the back of a bike or something. So it wasn't a massive rewrite, but I basically had to add a car to that scene, and then had to basically somebody had slashed its tyres, which presumably was my bad guy. It's never said who did it, but we can assume. So I had to add that to chapter 18. And yeah, so basically my plan was to do 16, 17 and 18. And I did sign them off, very happy with them. And in fact, chapter 18 is kind of the first part of a 2-part chapter. It's absolutely right, they're separate chapters, but they basically are telling Sir Teddy Ainsley's backstory. And so the first chapter of the 2 is called Edward's story, and the second story is called Teddy's story. And it's, I can't say that, but because that's a revelation in the book. But basically, there's a reason why they're next to each other. And yeah, so I actually should have finished at chapter 18 today, but I also edited chapter 19. And again, it's now coming into the stuff that I'm really proud of. So actually, there's a moment in one of the chapters I edited today, and I can't remember which one it is. It wasn't chapter 18, it was probably 16. And it's a revelation within the story, which, if I've done it properly, the reader will have worked out before it's actually revealed on page. But it's still a really lovely moment. And so, yeah, so I've done 19 of the chapters, leaving me 14 to do over the next 5 days. But I didn't stop there, because I kind of thought, well, tomorrow I'm not going to get much writing done, or I may not get much writing done. So I kind of decided that the very least I needed to do was have a look at some of the next chapters. And so I did that. And this afternoon, I read through and made slight alterations to chapters 20, 21 and 22. And that's again got another of my favourite moments of the book in it. It's a revelation about... I can't really talk about it too much without spoiling the story if nobody's read it, but it's a revelation about why two people are in a relationship, and it's not shocking, but it's quite sad, and it literally cut the relationship when this thing gets discovered. It kills the relationship. And it's not a nice moment. It's a genuinely sad moment, but it feels, I'm going to sound like I'm really bigging myself up, but it feels well crafted and natural and fits into the story. And it's a moment that I'm really proud of. So my plan is this. I think I'm going to do one more load of washing, and then later on today, I'm going to drive up to Chester, stop in the hotel overnight, do the stuff I need to do tomorrow. Not the stuff I need to do, the stuff I want to do, meet up with my friend and stuff. But I have got the 3 chapters with me that I have read through today. So I should be able to sign them off, maybe even tonight. Because I've got the physical printed copies now. I've been through it on the screen. I'm going to take them up with me, and if I've got nothing to... I will have nothing to do in Chester because I'm not meeting a friend until tomorrow. Obviously, I'll go out for something to eat, but then I won't have much to do, so I will try and get those other 3 chapters done, which will take me up to the end of chapter 22. That will leave me only 11 left to do in the 4 days remaining that I will have, because realistically, I don't think I'll get any done tomorrow. And that's not to say I won't. I don't know what time I'm going to get home tomorrow, so it might be that I can get a couple more chapters done tomorrow as well. And if I do, even better, I'm even further ahead. But it is good news. It does look like I'm going to get this thing signed off ahead of schedule, which means my stretch target for the month, if I do get Still Life signed off by the end of the 23rd, is to write that 60/40 Doctor Who The Bill short story crossover that I've been promising myself that I'm going to write pretty much since January. It's been a failed target every month since January. Anyway, that's enough for me today. I'll talk to you tomorrow when hopefully I will have seen some elephants and lots of other interesting things at Chester Zoo. Take care. Thank you for listening. Bye bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.